every story appears ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is a story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Good evening and welcome to CoreTV Primetime News. I am Ebulomo Adekunle. In our major story, federal government says the renewed war on Boko Haram will lead to the arrest of militants of the sect. Also in this program, Chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Atairu Jega, appears before the Senate to demonstrate the use of the card readers for the 2015 elections. Ogun State's Governor Ibikuli Amosu says there are over 600,000 permanent voter cards in the state that do not belong to residents of the state. And outside Nigeria, Ukrainian military forces have withdrawn from the embattled city of Debaltseve, which had been the scene of intense fighting and shelling in recent days, despite the Minsk ceasefire agreement. The Nigerian government says security operatives have arrested a number of insurgents who took refuge in internally displaced persons camp in the northeast. Coordinator of the National Information Center, Mike Omeri, told journalists in Abuja that many of them have been fleeing as a result of massive bombardment of their bases in recent days. He maintains that 18 towns have been liberated, while noting that increased regional cooperation
between the countries of the Lake Chad Basin Commission, resulting in the retaking of territories by the Nigerian military and multinational forces, which are simultaneously shielding off new attacks. The fight against Boko Haram is therefore gaining the regional solidarity and momentum it deserves. Particularly, ladies and gentlemen, Nigerian troops have recaptured the towns of Monguno and Malte, among several others, while military operations are continuing at other locations in the area. Because of the heavy bombardments of various Boko Haram hideouts, there has been massive dispersal of these elements to various locations, including the numerous IDP camps, from where many of them have been fished out and are arrested. Therefore, it is advised that we still maintain high level of vigilance, since they are moving out of their comfort zones. They could choose to relocate in country to other areas. So please, our countrymen and women and the media should be alert.
Nigeria's military authorities say over 300 insurgents have been killed in air and ground assault on Monguno and 10 other communities in the northeast previously held by Boko Haram. Defense spokesman Major General Chris Olukolade said in a statement that aside from Monguno, troops also liberated Gabchari, Abajabari, Gajigana and Gajiram. Others are Damaka, Kumaliwa, Bosowanti, Jaram and Kabrusungo, Olukolade revealed that the military captured 5 different types of armored fighting vehicles, an anti-aircraft gun, about 50 cases of packed bombs, and 8 different types of machine guns, 5 rocket-propelled grenades, and 49 boxes of assorted ammunition. He added that 6 Hilux vehicles, including those mounted with anti-aircraft guns, were also destroyed during the operation that cost the military 2 soldiers. With a new wave of attacks coming a few weeks to the rescheduled elections, Boko Haram leader Abubakar Shekau has vowed to disrupt the elections. The terror group leader in the new video says his group has shown that it is a capable fighting force. He says it will ensure that the elections are disrupted no matter what it takes his group. He also makes a mockery of the new regional coalition against the group, vowing that he would not rest until he achieves his aims. Following the release of a new video by the Boko Haram terror group vowing to disrupt the forthcoming general elections, the defense headquarters has assured all Nigerians to go about their normal businesses without any fear, as it is ready to withstand any eventuality. The defense headquarters also assures Nigerians that a terror group will be defeated, urging them to be calm and continue to support the military. Yobe State's Governor Ibrahim Gaidam has called on residents of the state to be extra vigilant with happenings in their environment and communities in order to checkmate the threat of Boko Haram insurgents. It says the only way to be able to spot any potential troublemaker before the person can carry out their nefarious acts is by being extra vigilant. Gaidam gave this charge while addressing members and officials of the State Council of the National Union of Road Transport Workers during a visit to the Damaturu Central Motor Park to commiserate with the union as well as families and relations of victims of the suicide bombing at the motor park on Sunday. The governor also visited the State Specialist Hospital, Damaturu, where some of the injured people were receiving medical attention, and was told by the health commissioner that all victims were treated free of charge and that those in very critical condition have been referred to the Federal Medical Center, Nguru. President Goodluck Jonathan wants Nigerian Christians to use the 40-day Lenten season to pray for a peaceful and violence-free election. He also used the opportunity to call on all political leaders in the country to rededicate themselves to the commitment they made to peaceful, non-violent campaigns and elections. This was the thrust of a message released by presidential spokesman Reuben Abati on behalf of his principal on the occasion of Ash Wednesday. President Goodluck Jonathan also advised all those seeking political office in the coming elections to shun hate speech, incitement to violence, and malicious disintegration of opponents. Nigerian Christians, especially members of the Catholic community, are celebrating Ash Wednesday, a day that marks the beginning of the 40 days Lent. In Kaduna, services were held in many churches to signify the beginning of the fasting period that culminated in the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. A clergyman, Reverend Father Chris Luca, told CoreTV News that it is symbolic that a season coincided with election period.
Leave every negative thing that is drawing our country behind in terms of bribery and corruption that is killing every aspect of our country, in terms of violence and extremism that is found everywhere, that has even occasioned the change of the date of our election, that has brought a lot of tension in our country, and in preparation for the election.
Latest figures from the Federal Road Safety Corps shows that nearly 6,000 people were killed in over 10,000 road crashes in 2014. FRSC Corps Marshal Boboye Oyeyemi disclosed this in Abuja at the 27th anniversary of the establishment of the agency. As part of the anniversary, some officers of the Corps who exhibited excellence in the assignments received awards. Other corporate organizations that made outstanding contributions to road safety in 2014 were also given awards. Oyeyemi, however, assured that the Corps will continue to deliver on its mandate to reduce carnage on the nation's roads. You're watching the CoreTV Primetime News. We'll take a break and we'll return with more details later.
From time immemorial, women have birthed life, shaped character, and by extension, influenced the society. Moremi of Ife, Emoten of Benin, Queen Aminat of Zaria, all women of influence and power.
Whether it's before election, after election.
How ironical. Women being so powerful, yet have few grounds in decision making.
They see you as a wife, and I see you as a wife to a man.
We are talking women in politics.
A woman will be bold enough to stand up and say, I want to become president of Nigeria.
Only on CoreTV News.
Many thanks for being there. For more news and other information, you can visit our social media platforms. On Facebook, facebook.com/CoreTV News. Our Twitter handle at CoreTV News NG. And on YouTube, it's youtube.com/CoreTV, leave it space, then news. And if you're just joining, here is a reminder of our major stories. Federal government says the renewed war on Boko Haram will lead to the arrest of militants of the sect. Chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Tahiru Jega, appears before the Senate to demonstrate the use of card readers for the 2015 elections. Ogun State Governor Ibikoli Amosun said there are over 600,000 permanent voter cards in the state that do not belong to residents of the state. The chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Tahiru Jega, has told the Senate that the use of card readers for the forthcoming elections is in line with Nigeria's electoral laws and the Constitution. Some senators had argued that the technology is a component part of electronic voting, which is not recognized by law. But the INEC chairman maintained that it is only for accreditation, not actual voting, and as such is in line with provisions of the Electoral Act. Jega also demonstrated the use of card readers during a session that lasted over 3 hours, but cannot guarantee that elections would hold on March 28th. With the seeming improvement in the rate of collection of the permanent voter cards all over Nigeria, the situation in Ogun State is still far from ideal, as according to the state governor, Ibikoli Amosun, over 600,000 permanent voter cards are yet to be collected. Amosun, who was speaking to newsmen in Abeokuta, says words such as Itaeko, where he and his former president Olusegun Obasanjo hail from, has a lot of errors with PVCs having the state's code but with pictures of different people. He, however, says he has the assurance of the resident electoral commissioner that the right cards will be brought to the wards.
But as we speak today, the card they brought originally, and that is where the problem is, we have 2 or 3 issues now. The first one is that the card they brought, about 1.1 million in November. On my honor, about 600 of those cards doesn't belong to the state. And that is the problem. About 600,000 of those cards, they don't belong to the state. Yes, you will see them quoting that this is the polling unit, this is this, this is that. The cards are not our own local state.
The Kwara State chapter of the People's Democratic Party says the exit of former President Olusegun Obasanjo has no effect on PDP as a party because its continued presence is already a big negative for the party's fortunes. State chairman of the party, Iyolaw Oyedepo, condemns the behavior of the former president. It says his behavior was uncalled for.
He could decide to even be lukewarm, but to tear the card of a party that rescued him. Immediately he left the prison and was made a president under that party. He was not a foundation member. It was formed and they literally brought him in to be the head of the party. He should have that respect for the party. I'm only disappointed in that area.
He added that the exit of the former president has no repercussion for the PDP because it's not on ground even in his own ward.
There is no implication. They are idolizing this man for nothing. For example, in 1999, he lost in Ogun, even in his ward. In 2003, he had to use crude method to win that election. In 2007, he won the election in Ogun through rigging. So this man that has been losing election in his base is not a plus to our party.
He, however, says the former president has no respect for constituted authority, adding that it does not give the president the respect he deserves.
The way and manner Chief Obasanjo is behaving is that he has no respect for constituent authority, and he could not accept such treatment when he was in authority. Really, the institution of the presidency should be protected and respected, and this is somebody who has access to Aso Rock at any time. He could even send for the president. I think his method of approach seems to be much to be desired.
The governorship candidate of Labour Party in Oyo State, Christopher Alao-Akala, has debunked allegations by critics of his previous administration as unfounded lies and a gimmick to score cheap political points. Akala's promise to Oyo residents as it toured Ibadan North, West and Southeast is the provision of better living condition for people through wealth creation mechanism and a pledge to ensure peace and tranquility in the state. Omotayo Alo has more in this report.
With chanting and singing, the supporters of former Governor Alao-Akala lauded him as a great philanthropist and the man of the people. They defied all rules of comfort to go wherever the candidate went, canvassing for votes on a second-term bid in office.
So many things I like them. So, but Akala is the special one. I like them. She tries. She do everything. Do roads. So she tries.
While paying a courtesy visit to Akala in his Ibadan residence, former Governor Omololu Olunloyo says the choice has been laid out for Oyo residents amongst 3 prime candidates whom have served before and could be scored based on their performance.
He did me many favors. He put me in charge of Ibadan Water Works delegation to Tunis. He put me in charge of Chavez. He put me in charge of the Ogbomoso pharmacy. And he also put me in charge of some other things.
In response, Akala seized the moment to clear the air on critics who consistently target his administration as violence-prone.
Violence. Compared with what has been happening in Oyo State for the past 4 years. The other time they raised up the whole of Bomfoto. Who did that? One Yuku was killed. Who did that? Violence is relative. Don't forget that they are banned and proscribed that then you had to be before I left office. because he became a nuisance.
For the Labour Party governorship candidate, the outcome of the 2011 elections ascribed to his not being in good terms with some traditional rulers in the town was simply an excuse used by the opposition, whom he accused of rigging, adding that 2015 presents a better chance.
I had a cordial relationship with all traditional rulers in Oyo State. I own chieftaincy title in Oyo State in most of the important parts of Oyo State. Don't forget, by the grace of God, I am a Aresodero of Ibarapa Bejeje. We have the whole of Bapara land. I am the Aresodero. And when we went there, we were received by the people telling me that they don't have another choice other than what I've done to them there, they will vote for us.
It's just a matter of time as people of Oyo will decide through their votes where the pendulum swings for the tightly contested governorship seats in the state. Omotayo Alo, CoreTV News, Ibadan.
And now in Lagos, the Indigbo community in Lagos say they are in support of the APC candidates in Lagos as against the rumor that they are in support of PDP candidate Oluwaseyi Adegoke was at the meeting of the Eze Indigbo held in Lagos and filed in this report.
The Igbo indigenes have reiterated their support for the APC candidates irrespective of the sentiments the opposition will want to use. Debunking earlier rumors that the Indigbo community have endorsed the PDP candidates, the Eze Indigbo Ikeja Uche Dingba insists their support is for APC candidates.
We, the Ndeze in Lagos State, have adopted all APC candidates from A to Z. Ndeze Okwayana. Yeah. Ndeze Okwayana. Yeah. We did not adopt any PDP candidate. And if you want to talk about the grassroots, the people you are seeing here are the real grassrooters. They are the people that own the people, and the people owns them. We are not politicians, but when we speak to our people listen to us. And when they speak to us, we also listen to them, because we are their royal fathers and they are our sons. We are saying it unequivocally that we stand to support the party in Lagos, the party in the land, which is the APC, and that is the party we are going to vote for.
In the same vein, the Lagos APC Publicity Secretary Joe Igbokwe, an honorable member of the House of Representatives Abiodun Faleke, also debunked the rumors that Igbo people are regarded as aliens in the state, as they described it as a means for the opposition party to score cheap political points.
Here today, Igbo people in Lagos have always been supporting, whether it's AC, whether it's ACN, whether it's APC. It's just that what happened this time is that Jonathan pumped a lot of money into Lagos. And the fact also that Jonathan is from South-South, very close to South-East. They feel that, oh, let's support him the way everybody supported him in 2011. But it's not going to be so this time.
I can tell you that we are doing a lot to mobilize our Igbo brothers and sisters. My attendance at this meeting today pertains to that issue, to say that we have come to meet the Azes, who are, of course, in a community, you are going to see some who are on the left, some who are on the right. We have 57 Azes, 57 Azes in Lagos State. And out of 57, only six are with PDP as of today. And we know the 6. And we are still working on them. We are not going to leave them behind, because we strongly believe that they need to see more than money.
The organizers urged all Igbo indigenes in Lagos to shun sentiments and vote for all APC candidates for change and continuity. Oluwaseyi Adegoke, CoreTV News, Lagos.
A support group of the All Progressives Congress governorship candidate in Lagos, Support Farm Body, says it is out to ensure that the almost 6 million voters strength of Lagos State is won by Akinwumi Ambode. Addressing journalists at Ikeja, the group's vice chairman, Fola Tinubu, says the rumor making rounds on the alleged ill health of its governorship candidate, Akinwumi Ambode, is only a ploy by the PDP to rubbish the name of the APC candidate.
It's all PDP rumors. There's absolutely, and I mean absolutely, nothing wrong with Mr. Akinwumi Ambode. He has served Lagos State meritoriously for 27 years without any blemish, and he's been campaigning for the last year and a half, going all over Lagos State. And there's nobody that has, with the exception of PDP, that are sowing disinformation, that can say that there's anything wrong with him, and the voters should just disregard it.
The media director of the group, Koinde Bamigbeton, says campaign rallies and canvassing support for the APC governorship candidate is never too much and will continue until the polls.
As he has rightly said, is to put more hands on deck. It's never enough. We are talking of 6 million voters. Not one body can get across these 6 million voters. You may get to 100, I can get to 100, but at the end of the day, when the votes are counted on April 11, you will see the effort of this October effort to be able to gather votes across board, so that we make sure that the wide margin, the margin between the PDP and the APC is going to be so wide that there will be no need for anybody to say, I want to even contest it.
The chairman of the House of Representatives Public Accounts Committee and APC senatorial candidate for Lagos West, Solomon Adiola Olamilekon, is well and alive, contrary to some misleading reports. According to a statement signed by his media advisor, Kayode Odunwayo, Adiola took a break from his campaign following the postponement of the February 14, 2015 election, and had arrived at Abuja on Tuesday to join other members in the resumption of the House plenary from the last adjournment for the election. But media reports earlier in the day indicates that he had died, but he says this is all a death wish which will not come to pass. He added that he remains steadfast in the pursuit of his aspiration to represent the people of Lagos West as a senator, but will also continue to discharge his duties as a federal legislator for Alimosho constituency and other legislative duties. Reports earlier in the day in some online media had indicated that Solomon Olamilekon had died, but it turned out that the said Solomon Adiola was a Labour Party senatorial candidate in Ogun State. The Lagos State Governor Babatunde Fashola sworn in Folashade Jaji as the 18th Lagos State Head of Service. Speaking at the brief ceremony held at the State Executive Chambers, Folashade says the state government will continue to place emphasis on merit in appointing public servants. He enjoined the new head of service to see her elevation as a call to higher responsibilities.
I hope and I implore our new head of service to frontally seize on the reforms that have been embarked upon by her predecessors, reforms in keeping the ministries, departments and agencies on their toes in terms of their commitments to the vision statements that we have set, the service charters that they have drafted by themselves with our approval, and the commitments and timelines that they have voluntarily adopted under those charters to deliver service in a prescribed manner and to monitor compliance with those service levels, because that really is the way that we will demonstrate that we are true professionals as a public service, and that is the way by which we can keep our leadership role as the model of governance in this part.
On her part, the newly appointed head of service promised to justify the confidence reposed in her by the state government by giving her
being
best
at the
while
headship
in
of the
office.
machinery that must assist government in actualizing her plans and programs, I do promise to provide the kind of leadership that will sustain the seamless symbiotic relationship among the key players in the state public service, in line with good, fit-for-purpose practices and acceptable international standards. Expectedly, I shall also strive to build on the modest efforts and contributions of my predecessors in office.
The appointment of Folashade Jaji, who joined the state civil service in the year 1980, is coming 8 months before her retirement. Still in Lagos, Governor Babatunde Fashola has placed the state cumulative budget performance for the year 2014 at 83%. Fashola disclosed this while briefing journalists on the state quarterly budget review, saying the impact of the budget performance is visible in the completion of several projects across the metropolis. He promised that his government will continue to provide service to residents of the state till his tenure is over.
And to close strongly, and as I said, in the rain and in the sun until the last day, we'll continue to provide service. That's the role of government. What we also will do more, for example, is to settle as many obligations as we can, in spite of the difficult financial situation, to contractors to accelerate and complete more ongoing projects, housing schemes, for example, road works, drainage works, and we're issuing more contracts to support small businesses.
We will be back after this break with business, sports and other stories from outside Nigeria. Please stay with us.
Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on Digi 360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.
Now to business. The House of Representatives has set up a 17-man committee to liaise with the Ministry of Finance on crude oil benchmark and the medium-term expenditure framework. This is with a view to taking a decision that will pave way for the passage of the 2015 budget. Speaker of the House of Representatives, Aminu Tambuwal, disclosed this on the floor of the lower chamber on Wednesday after an executive session which lasted for over 2 hours. The committee is to be chaired by the Chairman, House Committee on Appropriation, John Eno. New guidelines for the treatment and management of dormant account balances by deposit financial institutions has been introduced by the Central Bank of Nigeria. According to the CBN, the objectives of the policy is to ensure that dormant account funds are identified and channeled through appropriate institutions to make them more productive to the economy and eliminate the possibility of banks converting dormant account balances to income. This was made known by the Director, Financial Policy and Regulation Department, Kelvin Amugo. He noted that CBN received representations from stakeholders on the matter and decided to set guidelines so as to curb possible abuse in the operation of dormant accounts, set operational standards for banks and other financial institutions in line with best practices, and to reinforce the property rights as guaranteed in the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended. The CBN said says account of customers shall retain their interest earning status during the period of dormancy, and once dormant accounts exceed a 6-year period, they shall be reported to the CBN along with efforts made by the bank to locate the owners or their personal representatives in the case of government-owned inactive dormant account. Banks shall notify the relevant government agencies of their existence with notification of banks, and are also required to turn over the funds to the concerned treasury after 6 years of inactivity. The Honorary Consul of the Republic of Lithuania in Nigeria, Gudi Ibru, on Wednesday urged the federal government to explore Lithuanians' agricultural development expertise in boosting our food production. Gudi Ibru says Nigeria currently stands to benefit from Lithuania's mechanized farming experience, especially now that the price of oil is tumbling. He urges Nigerians to take advantage of the educational opportunities and learning environment in Lithuania. According to Ibru, Nigeria and Lithuania Business Council had been registered to promote economic, social, cultural cooperation and integration between nationals of both countries. And now we join Sabena Izoku for the stock market report for today.
CoreTV News Stock Market Report is brought to you by MTN.
MTN, everywhere you go.
Hello there and welcome to the Stock Market Report segment with me, Sabena Izoku. Equity transaction on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange ended on a positive note today as the Nigerian All Shares Index appreciated by 2.55% to close at 29,177.58 basis points. The market capitalization increased in the same manner to close at 9.73 trillion naira. In all, a total of 424.32 million units of shares valued at 3.48 billion naira were exchanged in 4,731 deals. Seplat all top the gainers chart closed at 416 naira with a price difference of 12 naira, followed by Dangote Cement, Guinness, Nigerian Breweries, and West African Production Company of Nigeria. On the flip side, 40 all top the losers chart, followed by Julius Berger, Flour Mill, Unilever, and International Brewers. On the trader side, Access Bank topped the traders chart, followed by United Bank for Africa, Diamond Bank, First Bank of Nigerian Holding, and Guarantee Trust Bank. Just before we wrap up the stock market report, here's the currency trade for today.
CoreTV News Stock Market Report is brought to you by MTN.
MTN, everywhere you go.
And now it's time for sports with Frank Omalape.
Thank you for joining us on Sport News tonight. A member of the Nigerian Football Federation, Chris Green, has advised politicians to desist from interfering in football administration in the country. Green, who is also chairman of NFF's Disciplinary and Legal Committee, offered the piece of advice at the venue of the Kaduna State Football Association election. He argued that only seasoned sports administrators should be given a chance to run Nigerian football. Also speaking, the newly elected chairman of the Kaduna State Football Association, Abdulkadir Magaji, promised to take the ball to a higher ground. The 11th edition of the All-Africa game has seen the Nigeria side put up 4 points with a draw with the Guineans on Wednesday. The Under-17 Eagles scored a late goal to pull a draw through skipper Kelechi Nwakali against 10-man Guinea, as both kept hope alive to progress through to the next round at the CAF Under-17 Championship match in Miami. Sam Diallo put Guinea ahead on 30 minutes. Enterprising play by Diallo, Abdul Karim, Koto and Yamodu Toure was a handful for the Nigerian backline anchor around Abbas Usman and Zachary Halilu. The Eaglettes went into the second half with renewed energy and could have leveled through Kingsley Michael, but his effort in the box was not enough. Both sides earn 4 points each from the 2 games. We now have to wait for their final group games to determine the semi-finalists. And FIFA President Sepp Blatter has hit out at a group of Chelsea supporters after they were filmed racially abusing a black man on the Paris metro system. Footage emerged on Tuesday night of a group of fans blocking a man from boarding a train, while other people can be heard singing "We're racist, and that's the way we like it." And while FIFA, the leader of world football's governing body, says it has now stepped into the matter, and then via his Twitter feed, Blatter said he condemned the actions of a small group of Chelsea fans in Paris. According to Blatter, there is no place for racism in football. And finally, a motivational note written by Andy Murray before his Rotterdam Open quarterfinal defeat by Gaelic Simeon have been published on Twitter. The handwritten instructions found and photographed by Dutch sports journalist Wilfred Guinea show tips such as "be good to yourself." The notes apparently written on the back of a letter to Andy from a fan also gives him tactical advice, including keep going for yourself and keep going for your service. Despite the notes, Murray lost 6-4, 6-2. Well, and that's it on Sport News tonight. Many thanks for watching. I am Frank Omalape. Enjoy the rest of our news.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website, www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
And outside Nigeria, some pro-government forces began to withdraw of eastern Ukraine on Wednesday in Debaltseve, which is under siege from Russian-backed separatists. Commanders of pro-government paramilitary unit said. The withdrawal of forces from Debaltseve is taking place in a planned and organized way, said Semen Semenchenko, who heads the pro-government paramilitary battalion Donbass. Separatist forces, who the pro-Western government in Kiev say are supported and armed by Russia, fought their way into the key railway junction on Tuesday, despite a ceasefire which came into effect on Sunday, but has been under pressure from the start. Rebels say the ceasefire negotiated by Ukraine, Russia, Germany and France at a summit in Belarus last week does not apply to Debaltseve, a strategic transport hub which links the two rebel-controlled regions of eastern Ukraine. Russian President Vladimir Putin, whom Kiev and Western countries accuse of directing the rebels' tank and artillery assault on the town, told Kiev in Budapest on Tuesday that it should let its soldiers surrender. And that's it on CoreTV Primetime News tonight. But before we go, a recap of our major stories. Federal government has said the renewed war on Boko Haram has led to the arrest of militants of the sect. Chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Atahiru Jega, appeared before the Senate to demonstrate the use of the card readers for the 2015 elections. Finally, Ogun State's Governor Ikulia Amoso claimed there are over 600,000 permanent voter cards in the state that do not belong to residents of the state. And that's it for tonight. On behalf of the entire production crew, I am Ebunlomo Adekunle, wishing you a wonderful night rest.